Not saying what kind. So everybody here believes it needs to be reformed. Just not this kind of reform? And when I say not this kind of reform, what do you mean by that? Anybody? Yes.
I wouldn't go out and buy insurance or a car or anything for myself without reading all the fine print. I want to know how much it's going to cost me personally. I want to know the details, what kind of coverage I would be having, what are my co-pays, who's administering it, is there a maximum lifetime benefit?
So in other words, you don't agree with what Nancy Pelosi said is, I can't just wait until this bill passes and then you'll see what's in it?
No. I mean, that's just ludicrous. I wouldn't buy a house without reading all the closing statements. The other thing that bothers me as a nurse is Obama's platform when he was running for president was to build the infrastructure of America. He's going to dump 32 million people into a health care plan without bolstering the infrastructure of medicine and nursing and hospitals.
How many of you are aware of what's happened with the education reform this week? Okay. You know that is the second part of health care, that you no longer can get a private loan from a private bank for, so in other words, it's the government takeover now of education as well. I believe their answer to you would be, we are, because now we control the education, and the way they say they're going to fix this system is to encourage more doctors to be GPs and not specialists, and so they're going to do it that way. You don't buy into that?
No, they're not going to have GPs in 4 years when they start implementing Obamacare.
Why is that?
Because it takes college, 4 years of medical school, 3 to 5 years of a specialty.
See, now you're using too much logic. Anybody else? Yes.
I develop cancer treatment centers, and I'm concerned.
Wait a minute. Wait, you do what?
I develop and build cancer treatment centers across the country, and there's a concern of keeping up the quality of treatment with this health plan that we've been improving over the years in treatments.
I think all of us, and that's what the American Revival is about tomorrow. It's faith, hope, and charity. And we've been talking about this on the show, and that's the thing. It takes. In my keynote address tomorrow, my daughter gave me this song. I'm trying to remember. It's somebody Engelson. She gave me this she gave me this CD, and one of the songs on it, I don't even remember what it is, but the hook line in it is, "Let's get rich, and then buy everybody a sweater and a house for our parents in France." And I called her up after I heard that, and I said, "I've got good news and bad news. Don't buy me a house in France ever. It's France. Second, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Let's buy everybody a sweater. What about the people who live down by the equator?" But the great news is that that was a hippie song that understood get rich and then buy everybody something that you want to do. Do something charitable for you, what you want to do. I think what we've done here is we've destroyed everything which gives you the ability to get rich and build cancer centers. I mean, everybody comes up on the technology that is being made for somebody else. Am I wrong, Robert?
No, that's right, exactly. The technology is really important, and there's just a real feeling of disappointment that the technology that's been improving over the last 10 years very rapidly just can't maintain that any longer.
All right, let me ask you this, because I want to get into something different than just the usual healthcare talk. We had a chat before we went on the air, and I said to you, where's the bumper sticker? Zach, do you have the bumper sticker? You're a college Republican?
Yeah, UCF college Republican.
Okay, and this is a
scam bumper sticker.
Scam. And we were talking about that, and I said, you know what, I feel like we've been scammed. I feel like the debate isn't even real anymore. Why have the debate when it's real? All these people now, you know, that Jim Wallace, who's the spiritual advisor for the president, he wants to debate me, and what's his name, the Titanic boy, he wants to debate me now on global warming, whatever. I can't debate anybody if you won't say that we're right about some of the things that we've been right on. And I feel like we just keep treading water here with them. We're going over the same, you know, I'm not a socialist, I'm not a socialist, it's not a socialist program, not a socialist program. New York Times, it's a socialist program. It's not redistribution of wealth, not redistribution of wealth. A senator, it's redistribution of wealth. Well, wait a minute. Does anybody else feel like there's almost no point in talking because we can't even have an honest conversation? We're just shouting slogans at each other. Anybody want to comment on that? Yes, Jan.
I'm just frustrated because, as you say, we're out here speaking. We're trying to get the Tea Parties going. We're trying to get Washington to hear us. They're not hearing us.
No, they're hearing you.
Well, they're not
Does
paying
anybody think
attention
they're
to us.
not hearing you?
They're not paying attention to
they're
us.
ignoring you.
Right.
Yeah.
How do we make a change? I mean, how do we go about getting them out of office, or, you know?
Okay, may I propose that we have to take a break. I'm going to propose an idea, and it's something that I'm doing at the American Rvival tomorrow. And I honestly don't know if it'll work, but I don't know an answer. I don't think the conventional thinking is going to work. I really don't. I think we're in a different world today. Let me propose that next. Florida, and we're talking about America's future. I'm here in the UCF arena, where tomorrow there'll be 8,000 Americans gathered together, and we're going to be talking about how to revive America. I don't know, but Jan asked me a minute ago, and she said, how exactly do we do it? We're trying to organize tea parties and everything else. I think, I don't know if anybody saw the episode where I talked about mutually assured destruction. Did anybody see that episode? Yeah, okay. Mutually assured destruction, that was the idea of, that's the way we don't bomb each other and kill each other. Everybody knew, if you have enough nukes, and I have enough nukes, you launch against me, I'll launch everything against you, and we'll blow each other up, and it'll be the end. That was the idea that stopped us from nukes. But in 1962-ish, there was a book called Tragedy and Hope with Carroll Quigley. And he announced that there was another mutually assured destruction that they could announce now. And they were very excited about it. They had been doing it since the 1940s to guarantee the tragedy was war. The hope was that there would be no more war, because they had tied our economies together. And so now, and he predicted in 1962, and in fact he didn't predict, he stated that from here on out, because the economies were all tied together, there would be no full-out war anymore. He said it would always be a police action or a war, and it would build up, but then it would peter out. There would be no clear victors anymore, and there would certainly never be a world war. And ever since he said that, he wrote that in 62, every war has been like Vietnam. Every single one has just kind of petered out. And look at what we're doing in Afghanistan and in Iraq. Is there any doubt in your mind that if the United States decided to put their full force and power behind it, this thing would have been done years ago? So he said, what we've done is we've tied everybody's economy together. And if one country goes after another, everybody's tied together, so the whole thing will just collapse. And that way the world pressure will come on through the United Nations. So was for nukes. But I contend, and I haven't heard anybody say this, if this system was in place to stop us from nuking each other, because if one economy goes down, they all go down, when our economy, the economy of Greece, the economy of China, the economy of Mexico, it doesn't matter. When that goes down, doesn't this system pull us all down? Doesn't that make sense? Why is nobody talking about that? It was done for a good reason. And now it's being used against us, not intentionally, but because that's the way it was designed. But I believe political parties are the same. I believe the political parties are so tangled up in themselves. Now, it's not quite the same as mutually assured destruction, but it is. Our answer, I think, is the same. When it comes to the nukes, if you wanted to win a war, if it was they had nukes, you needed something else. You needed what? You needed Star Wars. You needed something that spat you out of that system and said, I don't really care what you do because I have this, right? With the economy, if all the world is spiraling out of control and we know they're all tied together, then we need something dramatic to spit us out of that system. We need colossal 50% spending cuts. We need taxes, the lowest by far in the entire world. Because as everything is spiraling out of control, there is great wealth on this planet, and they are looking for a place that's going to be stable. What's stable? What's stable with their citizenry? What's stable where I can put a business and I can rest my money? We're always the one. If we would dramatically reduce our cost and our budget and cut it in half, if we would then go and take our spending and cut it, and our taxes and say it's going to be safe here, you can make money, the world will flee to us.